Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today we are going over the best VR games of 2023 by genre. That'll make it easy for you to find exactly what you're looking for. Now this video doesn't really need a much bigger introduction than that. There are of course the links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. They've finally released their Quest 3 Elite strap with battery pack, and not only is it less than half the price of what Meta sells, but it also has a bigger battery and extra comfy plush material. Now if you previously purchased a Quest 2 head strap from Kiwi, they also offer a conversion kit so it'll fit on your Quest 3. So if you're looking to increase your comfort level or battery life on your Quest 3, or need an accessory for any other headset, check out the link down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. So we're going to start this list up in just a moment, but I'd like you guys to comment on what your favorite game of 2023 was. Not the game you played the most in 2023, a game that actually released in 2023. And if you happen to disagree with me at any time throughout this video, I would love to hear why, so let me know that stuff down in the comments right now. I'm going to order this video based on my least to most favorite genres loosely, and let's get into it. Starting with Gran Turismo 7 taking the title of Best Driving Game. If you value things like graphics and realism, then this should be your go-to experience. It's also a truly massive title with a lengthy campaign, plenty of cars to unlock and customize, and a gameplay experience that's well suited for everyone from rookies all the way up to sim junkies or professional racers. I've never been a big fan of the racing genre, but this title instantly sucked me in, and it's a truly immersive and beautiful racing experience. But if you're looking for something that runs at a little bit slower of a pace, let's move into the puzzle genre. The clear winner here was the third installment of I Expected to Die. This series somehow manages to just keep getting better and better. The quirky fun and challenging puzzles continues, but somehow the production value and overall experience just gets better and better with each new title. You'd expect by this point the series is starting to feel bland and old, but the magic of these quirky escape rooms has not diminished just yet. Now if you're a PlayStation VR2 owner, the best puzzle title was Red Matter 2. Stunning graphics, a compelling storyline, truly challenging puzzles, and an overall creepy atmosphere that keeps you wondering what's gonna happen next. Now again, I'm not the biggest fan of the puzzle genre, but I felt completely compelled to play this title from beginning to end when it originally released back on the Quest, and I jumped back in to re-experience this game for the PlayStation VR2 release. Now even if you're not the biggest fan of the puzzle genre like myself, don't sleep on Red Matter 2, it's an absolutely fantastic game. Now moving into the horror genre, I absolutely love the co-op experience that Inverse had to offer. Overall, it's very similar to Dead by Daylight, with 4v1 asymmetrical gameplay, where one player takes the role of a monstrous creature, and everyone else is a scientist who's running for their life. Now they did twist up that classic formula a bit, as once the scientists get enough generators up and running, they'll unlock some weapons and have the opportunity to fight back. VR also makes this overall experience that much better, because as the monster you get to physically bash down walls, climb different surfaces, and then jump down on an unexpected enemy. The overall gameplay loop is fantastic, and I hope they continue to pump out some new updates. Now if you're looking for a single player horror experience, I absolutely love the roller coaster ride from hell that was the Dark Pictures Switchback VR. I know there was a bit of controversy when this game originally released, but overall I absolutely loved the experience. The roller coaster ride felt truly thrilling. There's grotesque creatures around every corner and plenty of jump scares, and I really enjoyed the arcadey style combat. But if you're one of the people who wasn't the biggest fan of this title, maybe Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 is more your style. Now I will admit I noped out of this series a really long time ago and have yet to play the newest installment. I know if I kept it off the list I would have been blasted in the comments, and the reviews look pretty solid for this game, so I just wanted to give it an honorable mention. Now last up in the genres that aren't truly my favorite, we have the stealth-based games and Assassin's Creed Nexus. Luckily for me, the title doesn't force you to be that stealthy, and I can make up for my rather noisiness with my excellent combat skills. Stealth ban or not, there's still plenty to enjoy in this title. The time-traveling storyline is fun even if you're not an Assassin's Creed fan. You get to execute some amazing parkour skills and stealth kills, and it's a mighty fine looking title on the Quest platform. So it doesn't matter if you're an Assassin's Creed fan or not, I recommend you go check out this game. And now we're moving into a genre that I still thoroughly enjoy, but is admittedly way overdone in VR, and that's the roguelite. Now my personal favorite on the PlayStation VR2 was Synapse. Jumping into that trippy Inception style world and gaining more and more telekinetic powers just feels so good. Graphically, this title's a stunner. The action and overall gameplay mechanics keep me pumped up, and I truly love this game for what it was, but ultimately it was kind of forgettable. The really cool atmosphere and storyline never really goes anywhere, and just like most roguelites, the game does get quite repetitive. Now for people on the Quest platform, I have a surprise roguelite that I'm sure you didn't think of. The Uncharted Rifts and Asgard's Wrath 2 could have been its own standout roguelite title. Even if that massive single player campaign wasn't attached to this title, the Uncharted Rifts alone would have been the best roguelite of 2023. Seriously guys, it's that damn good, because not only does it have top tier melee, but it also changes things up with a few standout features. For starters, there's an asynchronous multiplayer mode. You'll decide if you want to play for the side of order or chaos, and this will have you showing up in other people's games as either an ally or foe. It's an excellent mechanic that just adds so much. There's also plenty of other cool features like daily rewards that'll give you a reason to keep coming back to this game. Honestly, I'm extremely impressed with the roguelite feature that they added to their game that they really didn't have to do. Now moving into the shooter genre, 2023 was a pretty damn good year. Now, if you're a fan of extraction shooters, Ghost of Tabor is your go-to game. They took home Game of the Year at the VR Game Awards, which makes plenty of sense because so many people seem to be addicted to this title. This was also a void that needed to be filled in the VR space, because previously there were no extraction shooters, and gameplay similar to Escape from Tarkov just works so good in VR. But if you're not really into competition and want a good co-op shooter, you have to check out the zombie shooter Arizona Sunshine 2. This sequel takes everything from the original title and just makes it so much better. There's an arguably lengthy 19-chapter campaign that you can completely play through in co-op with a buddy. And speaking of buddy, that'll also be your companion dog that you get in this game. He's a fantastic new addition, just like everything else they did. So go ahead and jump into the sequel for better graphics, more refined but still arcadey combat mechanics, a much deeper storyline, and overall a lot more fun. But if you're looking for a traditional PvP similar to Counter-Strike, you definitely have to jump into Pavlov's Shack. The full quest release of this title is absolutely fantastic, and honestly didn't leave me missing much from the PC or PlayStation VR2 versions. And once you get bored of the classic Counter-Strike style combat, you can go check out the hundreds of mods available for this title. There's a ton of different gameplay experiences, everything from quirky TTT all the way to an asymmetrical monster hunt. Pavlov's Shack easily became my favorite shooter for the Quest 3, but I also have to mention Breachers. If you're looking for some more tactical combat that gives you the opportunity to use a lot of cool devices similar to Rainbow Six Siege, well then Breachers is definitely your style. It's made by the same studio that released Hyperdash, which was one of my favorite all-time shooters. So if you're looking to pick up a new shooter between Arizona Sunshine 2, Ghost of Tabor, Pavlov, and Breachers, there's plenty of amazing options, and it really just comes down to what type of gameplay were you looking for. Now, if you want strategic combat above all else, I highly recommend you check out Demeo Battles. The beloved tabletop turn-based combat of Demeo has now been made into a competitive game. You'll go ahead and select your hero and build up an army, and then go toe-to-toe in 1v1 or 2v2 battles. Unlike the original Demeo, where a session usually lasts over 2 hours, matches in Demeo Battles are usually 15 minutes or less. It's extremely strategic with just enough RNG to keep things exciting, and there's a huge amount of unlockables to keep you coming back to this game. But I know competition isn't for everyone, so here I'll direct you to the absolutely fantastic co-op RPG experience of Dungeons of Eternity. Now overall the game's a bit more of a dungeon crawler rather than an RPG, but you will be leveling up and unlocking some cool new skills and features. Plus, there's plenty of new weapons, armor, and consumables to find along the way. Now, I know leveling and equipment is part of the hook for most people, but the true standout of this game is its combat mechanics. Yes, it leans more towards the arcadey dungeon crawler, but the combat is just so much fun. You'll feel unstoppable as you're constantly throwing a never-ending stream of weapons, and then some massive creatures will show up and one-shot you. Overall, it's a highly addictive game that'll have you coming back time and time again. But if you're looking for a more refined, deeper single-player experience, it doesn't get much better than the Resident Evil 4 Remake. You kind of can't go wrong when you take a beloved game that's nearly 20 years old, and then remake it with modern graphics and mechanics. Currently, the Resident Evil 4 Remake is the definitive way to play this classic experience. It has that same storyline and wacky moments that you love, but that and everything else you enjoy to this title has just been improved. So Resident Evil fans, horror fans, shooter fans, go check out this game. Now we're heading towards the end of this video, guys, and we're basically into my two favorite titles of 2023. The first one is the single-player shooter Vertigo 2. If you're a fan of this channel, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Vertigo 2 is basically Half-Life meets Rick and Morty. The developer even took to the fact of calling this a Half-like experience. It has that familiar storyline where you're trapped in a massive underground facility, but rather than leaning towards a more serious and ominous tone, this game is a lot more quirky and humor themed. That being said though, it can still be ultra violent and brutal, and there's plenty of twists and turns around every corner. Honestly, if you enjoyed that classic Half-Life experience, where just about every single moment has been handcrafted to delight you, well then you're definitely going to enjoy Vertigo 2. From the combat to the storyline to the graphics, this is a top tier title. But easily the best overall game for me and best RPG, and like I said earlier in this video, the best roguelite experience, all comes from Asgard's Wrath 2. This game has absolutely blown me away. I've been raving about it. I know I sound like a meta shill at this point, or, you know, Sanzaro is sending me paychecks. I wish that was the case. I could use the money. But no, I am glad to promote this title free of charge because it's that freaking good. Asgard's Wrath 2 gives me everything I'm looking for from a VR game. The combat mechanics feel absolutely fantastic. The game was definitely inspired by God of War, and it has that same combination of amazing cutscenes, brutal and highly tactical combat, a nice variety of puzzles, a reason to look around every corner, and plenty of instant gratification as you're constantly opening up chests and getting new loot. Honestly, I could go on and on about this game for over an hour. Even after tens of hours of gameplay, I'm expecting it to get stale or really repetitive, but that's just not the case. The only thing that's been stopping me from playing Asgard's Wrath 2 all day long is the fact that I get too tired. I know, I'm old. But yesterday was pouring raining the entire day. I did not leave the house, but I still somehow managed to do 11,000 steps just playing Asgard's Wrath 2. Yep, that's what my watch counted. 11,000 steps playing Asgard's Wrath 2. So I'm allowed to get a little bit tired. But guys, that was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If I missed the title you loved, let me know down in the comments. If you disagree or agree with me on anything, I'd love to hear that too. Again, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Happy New Year, everybody. If I don't put out another video before the year ends, don't miss my giveaway. And I'll see you guys on next time.